Happy New Year, everybody! You know who I am, and you know what I do, and you know who I do it for, and it's most certainly for you. Welcome to another edition of The Checkup, where I, your host, Dr. Rectango, give you all of your gaming information and news post-haste. Now, with that said, let's talk about one Microsoft. And a little disclaimer here. This is not me taking a giant poo-poo on Microsoft. This is not me opening up the floodgates of my anal cavities and my digestive tract to just smear my diarrhea campaign and fecal matter all over Microsoft and the Xbox One. That's not what I'm here to do. Now, I'm going to draw another disclaimer in which I talk about the title of my video. Yes, this is the 6th edition of The Checkup. Why? Because apparently we skipped the number 6, and let's be honest, if George Lucas can name his 5th film Episode 2, and the Xbox One being the 3rd Xbox console could be named the Xbox One, I don't think anyone really cares about the numbering system. I could call the next one episode 637. As long as the content's good, who cares? Anyway, back to the Xbox One. It would seem as though someone out there has talked to their sources and said the Xbox One will be getting a slim model in 2016! I know, right? One of the best ideas ever. The giant brick box of no aesthetic appeal and no sexiness and no curves. The Xbox One will be getting a smaller version, which might actually look cool or might just look like another basic brick, but smaller. But we're not here to talk about aesthetics. We're here to talk about what the console will be rumored to do. And I'll be honest with you. The reason why I said I'm not here to take a dump on Microsoft is because Microsoft's not this stupid. If Microsoft released this, I would go into a coma. I would not be able to process that people who make this much money get paid to make these dumb decisions that they would actually have claimed to made if these reports hold true. They claim that the Xbox One Slim won't play Xbox One games because it will be released at a much cheaper price rate to compete with the Apple TV. Now, I know what you're thinking, ladies and gentlemen, but why? I don't understand that. Because this device will be able to play Microsoft Windows Store games. You know, the games you get on the Microsoft Store, like Rise, things of that nature. Now, the reason why this would just be so blasphemous to me is because you're going to get a console that is going to be called the Xbox One anything that doesn't play Xbox One games. Just games off the Microsoft Store. Now, as we all know, if it's going to be reduced at a cheaper price, these games won't be in PC quality. They won't be in Ultra HD. They won't be in crazy 4K. They won't be at the highest of resolution, and they won't be at the highest graphical settings. They'll probably be in the mid to low range, or the console versions of the PC games that you all know and love. Also, since it's a console that plays PC games, you are playing PC games with none of the benefits of the PC games. You don't even get the prices. You don't get the mods. You don't get the community aspect. There's a lot of things out here that you will be missing out on. And I'm sure you'll still need an Xbox Live subscription to even play any of the games in multiplayer fashion. So, the Microsoft Store. Let me get this straight. You're marketing a console that's going to be based on backing your Microsoft Store. Some people would say that's a good idea. But this is the same Microsoft Store that is selling this day, January 2nd, 2015. They are still selling NBA 2K15, last year's version, last year's game, for $40. When I can get this year's game anywhere else, NBA 2K16, for cheaper. Bravo. Bravo. This is the same Microsoft Store that is still shilling out and selling Rise for $40. Yet right now, January 2nd, 2016, I can walk onto Steam and get it for $3. Right. Now maybe they'll remodel and rework and retool the Microsoft Store just for this console's release. But I honestly think this console's a myth. Because this comes from one of those Microsoft bloggers who comes out and says, I talked to my inside sources and my inside personnel and got the inside scoop on the inside track, and I know more than the average consumer. Which is why I say anyone that is currently believing this build in its current form, would have to be an idiot. You need to be locked up in an insane asylum. You are more crazy than Mark Hamill's Joker. I'm sorry, you've out crazy them. There's no way that this could be a business decision that somebody would make and then expect to get paid millions upon millions of dollars to bring to fruition. It's that damn stupid. You're going to release an Xbox One that doesn't play Xbox One games, plays Windows Stores games, which is a very limited amount of games in its current structure. And within that infrastructure, their prices are anywhere from 10 times to 15 times as much as the game is actually worth. And it won't even be the best version of the versions that are available for cheaper. Are you kidding me, mate? It's absolutely nuts, some of the prices that they are charging for some of the games that they have on their store right now. And on their main store listing, there's only 63 games, and they're still trying to sell you Titanfall Collector's Edition for $250. Let me just pull out my wallet and just shove it right up my ass, because apparently I've got no better uses for my monetary gains other than to buy Titanfall. A game that is online only, in which you will still make me buy Xbox Live to play, with a dead community who, let's be honest, its gameplay was not as innovative and as thought out and as cool as one might have thought it was initially. So with that said, in its current form, this idea is a schlockfest. If this actually came out, I'd cry. And I'm not a Microsoft guy. But I would weep tears of eternal sorrow for anyone who is a Microsoft supporter and has to deal with this. And I understand what some of you are going to say. But, Rectangle, wouldn't this be okay because it's supposed to be a competitor of the Apple TV, not the PS4? I could see that. But as an Xbox One peripheral, you still want me to go out and buy the $100 to $150 initial buy for the console. I'm sure that you're going to have to buy some sort of controller or some adapter to it, so let's just say that's $30 minimum. And then on top of that, you want me to pay a yearly subscription to Xbox Live, even though it's going to be a PC, in which I don't have to pay any yearly subscription to any of my PC services. So that's another subsidiary charge that you're going to have to mark up. Then your games are going to be 10 times cheaper than they are for anyone else who has any sort of PC, and in some cases more expensive than their console counterpart on the full price Xbox One. I mean, what the fuck, mate? What the hell? Yeah, you start off at a cheaper initial value, but at the end of the day, you'll probably be spending exponentially more money than anyone else in the console market. And this is supposed to be a device for casuals. Now, the only way that I could see this being a good or even semi-marketable idea is if they somehow get you some Xbox One support, even though that'd be even more ridiculous, because now you have an Xbox One that is going to be much cheaper that still plays your Xbox One games. Which at that point, there's going to have to be some major drawback for you getting the cheaper version of the console. Which then again would then make the other one obsolete and then would make you question life decisions that were even made here to begin with, since they were going to be airing them both out in the market concurrently at the same time. So I don't really know where Microsoft would be going with this idea. But it would go nowhere quickly. And I'm pretty sure they know. This seems like something that they would float out to, their bloggers and their leakers just to see what the reception is going to be. And they know it's going to be ass. Unless there's some major drawback and like some major boosts that we're not seeing yet. Like there has to be something that has just not even been talked about this system, if it is even in the works. Because remember, last year people leaked that this similar system was supposed to come out last year of October. Never happened. And even Phil Spencer said, no, that's not happening, bro. But he never said that it will never happen. He just said it's not happening at that time. So at the end of the day, is there anything that this console could do that would be interesting? As long as it has Steam support, I mean, that's probably about the most interesting thing that the thing will probably be able to bring to fruition. But at that point, I don't really see that being a thing, because the Xbox One is, it's a Microsoft thing. They're not going to hook up with Valve and just say, Steam for everybody. That's not a thing that they're probably going to do. Especially since some of the games that, they help produce or, cover, aka publish, can be found on Steam, and therefore they wouldn't be getting the maximum gains for their pockets in the fiscal year that they would like to see. So at the end of the day, I just think this is a dumb idea. I just think it's really stupid. I just don't think this is a thing that's actually going to happen. If it is, then what the fuck are you doing? Just what the fuck are you doing?